Hello everyone, we're live now, finally. It's taken me some time, but we are here. Hi everybody.
Hello.
So yeah, I apologise about the couple of hours, well, I would say about an hour late start. You can blame Windows and NVIDIA for that one, because I've not been streaming for a while. Things updated and other things didn't update, so I just spent some time updating
that
everything.
It would change in the month you've been away.
It's been nearly 2 months. Nearly 2 months. So yeah. So welcome to all the viewers who have already logged in and logged out again. So that's really nice of you. Thank you very much.
No worries.
No worries.
I help.
So yeah, so for this first one back, because I've now finished everything and I now have free time again. Yay! Well, I have free time, but I'm just filling up with doing lots of random stupid shit at the moment, so I'm really busy. And one of those things I did with Fiona a couple of days ago, which you'll hear on May the 1st.
Yes.
Yes. So, yeah, I'm joined, as most times I think I'm on here, as always.
Hello, welcome to my Zoom room. David is the guest.
Yes. By Fiona, from the What Am I Rolling podcast. So, hi, Fiona.
Hi, David. Hi, everyone. Hi, chat.
Hi. I would say how are you, but we've spent an hour talking.
We spent an hour talking about how we were.
Yes, so I'm not going to do that anymore.
Nope.
And I've just raged about computers for an hour, which actually is quite fitting for what we're doing today, I think.
Yes.
Yes.
So what are we doing today, David?
What are we doing today?
Segueing into...
It's a nice segue into it there.
Sedgway, yes.
Segue.
Yes.
We talked about those again, didn't we, on Wednesday?
I know.
Everything's interconnected. Oh, spacey, waishy, timey-wimey stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, today we are going to do something quite special. We are going to look at Death in Space. This is a new game being published by Free League. Mm-hmm. So they are not the creators of it. It is created by, let me get their names right.
Christian Blockford and Carl Niblaeus.
And it's also got some additional work by the guys from Merkborg involved in it. So Pele and Johan Noor are involved in it as well. So it is beautifully designed, is all I can say. Yeah. It's one of those books, I've got it in PDF because it's not technically out yet. And it's just one of those things I look at it and I go, I want this as a physical book. It's the same thing with Merkborg. You look at it and you go, I've got a physical copy of Merkborg, but I had it originally in PDF and it didn't connect quite well with me. And then I got the physical book and I just went, oh my God, I understand it all now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's incredibly beautiful and quite that minimalistic sort of 80s. If you think of Alien and that sort of the computer screens and the way they sort of do the diagrams and stuff, it's that kind of thing. And actually, the thing behind David, the virtual background, that is one of the big images. And like thank you, David. It is incredibly detailed. It's like just beautiful black and white. There's
images in there, so kind of the 1980s. I can't remember the company who did a bit like Salvage Union, who did all the car manuals.
Oh no, I don't know.
But you know the kind of idea, the mechanical manuals. There's Heinz, yes. There's something kind of like that in some of the images where it's really technical, but then you get these beautiful images of spaceships. The actual background behind us on the Zoom, not the Zoom, what's it called? The Twitch. Is again, it's a collection of characters from the game, and they're super evocative of the world. So it is, and it's minimalistic in the fact that it's only 3 colours. Generally it's only 3 colours, which is red, black, and white. I think there's some pages that have yellow and some pages that have green and blue, but it's only ever 2-tone.
Yeah.
So it doesn't change tones or anything, and it's just Beautiful book.
It's one of those ones because I was lucky enough to interview Christian and Carl about Death in Space, and it's what they wanted to get across with all the diagrams or the illustrations was that space is boring. And
yes.
In the sense of like it's vast and big, and to get from A to B it takes forever, and you're waiting and all that sort of thing, and it's just silent and all that sort of thing, along with the other themes I'm sure we'll explore in a sponsor shop. I'm just like, I don't get boring from the images, but it's that vastness, right? And just that emptiness that makes you feel so small.
I'm by trade an astrophysicist, so it is kind of things I do, and it's when I look at galaxy scale stuff, I simulate galaxies, and I only simulate dwarf galaxies, so actually small galaxies. But when you look at the scales, no, but it's kind of the idea. It's a dwarf galaxy, so it's a small galaxy. But even those scales, it's vastly large compared to what we think of. And I think one of the things just while we're doing this, we're going to talk about Death in Space, and then we are going to run a game of Death in Space.
Promise.
We will do.
Not
but
waiting an hour to get here.
And
not play a game of Death in Space. Absolutely.
No, we're going to do that. But I think because the game is not out yet, I think we need to kind of discuss about what it is and let people know kind of what the game is. So but one of the things that Death in Space brings in, and it kind of, if anybody's seen The Expanse, the TV series, it does this quite well as well. It talks about how long it takes to travel places. So if you're traveling in system, it can take weeks to get from one planet to another depending upon where the planet is. And there's mechanics in the game to represent that. If you're traveling to another system, it takes months to years to get there. And then there are ways that you can travel to other galaxies, and it shows you
like a really simple line graph.
Yeah, it shows you kind of like this is a beautiful line graph, but it takes decades, even at kind of like faster than light travel. It will take decades to get to these places. Like the Milky Way is 400,000 light years across. And so if you're traveling at the speed of light to get from one side to the other, it's still going to take you 400,000 years. And that's a long fucking time. So that just kind of gives you an idea of the expanse. And it's empty. Most of that is empty. And oddly hot.
Yes. But also, I guess, because people, obviously, we have played on Drunken Story Twitch, the Alien, right?
Yes, and so we still are.
We still are, yeah.
Because one of our fans is in the chat already, I'm going to say, don't worry, it's happening next Friday.
Yeah, we are on it. But I guess people will be like, oh, why would we go for this Death in Space instead of Alien, perhaps? But I see it as two very different games. Because obviously Alien, it is about aliens per se, but here, but also those sort of people who are controlled by corporations and stuff. Here's a similar story where you have corporations, but people have lost. There's this whole sort of the native setting that comes with it. I'm going to say this wrong. I think it's the Tenebris system, which I think that's the IT crowd.
No, that is the IT crowd. It's the Tenebris.
Tenebris system. And this idea that the universe had this big gem rush like thing, and because all these gems would power very fast, technology at the edge of technology, so spaceships, and then it just went bust, big pop, and then now
the bubble, the San Francisco tech bubble burst in space.
Yeah, and then all these old spaceships now are just recycled husks. They're just bits splat on, so a bit like Salvage Union to an extent, right? And it's just that idea that everything is reused, recycled, and everything is bleak. It's like the dystopia, but the workers are still working as the universe is dying all around you. Which,
it's very much one of the things. When I think about this, I think about Firefly again, because there was the war in the Firefly universe, which meant them colonize a different place. But it's that kind of idea, but taken to the extreme, where nobody really won, and it annihilated humanity, basically. And everybody is now trying to survive as humanity is slowly dying. So as this is me, this is quite a horror game, and that's kind of me, and I love these things. So, but what is nice it's far future. It is very much far future at the dying end of humanity. We've had that war for the gems, which powered through to the end of technology, and the gems have now run out and the war has finished, but nobody really knows who won because there's nothing really left.
Nobody wins.
Yeah. But because it's so far in the future and there was advanced tech during this, life is different. Humanity is no longer what we would recognize as humanity. And we'll go through character creation in a minute just to kind of show you the idea of what you can play and who humanity really is. But the war happened in the Tenebris system, where the gems were found on this one moon that I've forgotten the name of.
Why are you asking?
All I can remember is around this moon is the Iron Ring.
Yes, that's
which is where all the miners and things lived. And they'd go down to this moon and they'd mine the gems. And the Tenebris system is where it all happened, and that's where the most fighting happened. And the whole war raged around this. But because this was the system that controlled the power of the galaxy, all other systems have slowly started to fail. And travel between the systems is no longer easy. The bridge jump ships that travel between systems only turn up maybe once a year. And so it's not just this one system which has collapsed. The collapse of this one system has had that knock-on effect to everything else. So they've fleshed out this one system in the rulebook, but they also say, do what the hell you like with the rest of the galaxies and the rest of the universe and stuff, because it's the dying end and there's weird shit out in the void, as we will discover as we go through.
I believe the planets, just to go back and be like, you corrected me on my pronunciation. I believe it is Inoro.
Inoro, yeah, Inoro.
Inoro.
Yeah.
It's sort of yellow moon that's been mined completely. Imagine a quarry.
Yeah.
It's completely devastated now with no gems.
There's an entire planet.
Oh,
yeah.
Horrible, really.
It is. It's a really horrible, bleak world and universe that they've created.
So perfect for a Friday night story.
It's perfect for me.
Yes.
This is kind of how I live my life.
I wasn't going out anyway.
Nope. So yeah, it's a beautifully designed looking game, but it is a very, very bleak future.
Yes.
It is about the end of humanity and the end of life, and you just have to deal with loss. There's themes of loss, loneliness, emptiness, things coming to an end. Everything is rusting and hacked together.
Futile.
Yeah, it's a futile. It's futile. That's basically, I think, the key of the game. So, that's kind of like the basic concepts of the games. Let's go into some character. So you've because we're going to play a very short scenario.
Yes.
I'm going to have to shorten it out because fucking technology.
Hooray!
You've created a character for me.
I have.
And we'll go through your character and we'll talk about kind of how you generated it and kind of the choices that were made and things within there. So we'll start with the very first bit of character creation, and it starts off with your abilities.
Yes.
Now this is a very, 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 well, I say it's a very rules-light system. It's a very rules-light system with all the fucking tables in the world.
But those tables, you don't have to go outside of those tables at all.
Yeah,
I generated my character in, I think, about 5 minutes. It's going to take as long as to talk about it and actually creating characters, which is my favourite way of doing characters. Is like, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, but there's also like tables for finding tech and salvaging tech, and there's literally a table for everything you can imagine you would ever want in this. There's like 30 pages of tables, something stupid like that. But you don't need to use all of those. We can. There's only, if you're running it as a GM, there's only really 2 tables that you'll need, I think, and that's the mutations and the corruption tables.
Not ominous at all.
No. So anyway, we'll go through the abilities.
Yes.
what abilities do you have? What are the abilities, Fiona?
I'm so glad you asked, David. So, for every character in Death in Space, you have 4 abilities. You have Body, which indicates sort of bodily strength and physical resistance, melee attacks, that sort of thing. Then you have Dexterity, which is your reflexes, Poise, and Speed.
Yeah. Your basic Poise. 2 that you get in most things.
Most things, yeah. And then you have Sabe, which you have to say like that,
Sabe.
Which is your perception, intuition, psychological resistance, piloting spacecraft. So sort of combining quite a few bits and pieces in there in Savvy. And then the final one is Tech, understanding and operating technology and range attacks. So those are the 4 you get there.
And so I've seen your character sheet.
Right. Now, I want to explain, because obviously it's like, how do you get these abilities?
Yes.
Well, it says for each ability, you roll 2d4, 1 at a time, and the ability value of the first roll is then minus the second roll. So you can imagine my disappointment when I kept rolling 1s and then 4s on the second dice. So yes, you know what? I don't even have it up, David. How terrible is that as a player? So I have a +1 in Body, 0 in Dexterity, 0 in Savvy, and then a -3 in Tech, which possibly could be the whole point of this game is to be good at Tech.
Yeah, the whole point is to salvage stuff so you don't die and you don't run out of oxygen.
I decided that, I'm all about Body. I don't need Tech. I just need to get out of there alive. That's what I've decided.
So with that, what we'll do is we'll explain kind of like, before we kind of move on to the next bit, like what these, how do these actually, how do we use these in the game? So what do these represent? So what dice rolls do we make, and how do these represent to dice rolls in the game?
So whenever I believe I have a problem and I think I'm going to solve it and you go, nice try, you're going to ask me to roll a d20 and then plus a relevant ability. And I have to get a result equal to or greater than 12. Otherwise it fails, which is a very classic OSR kind of difficulty, isn't it? So, but on a failure, I suffer like a complication or a setback, and I gain a void point, which I'm sure we'll talk about. We'll
talk about void points later. So it's a simple system. It's a D20. 12 or more gets you it, plus and minus the points in your stats. So it's really super simple.
Easy. Yeah, like it's one of those ones where I'm very glad that it's like, okay, it's just one single die, easy enough, and just 4 ability modifiers as well. Yeah,
as I say, it's a super simple system with lots of nuance, I think, within it when you come to the character creation. Mm-hmm. And I think the next part is one of the really nice parts of character creation. So this is kind of, they call it origin.
Yes.
And when people think of origin, they'd think of origin story.
Yes, backstories.
Backstories. This is, I wouldn't really call this a backstory. This is your physical origin.
Yeah. I'd be like, lineage or something like that, perhaps.
I suppose if you're going to look at other games, you can relate it to species.
Yes.
In a way.
That's what it is. And what's interesting is that it doesn't necessarily say like human or Dalek or this, so that's quite nice.
It tells you what kind of life form you are based around. What life form, how is your life form created in a way? Mm-hmm. So I'll do a couple of these and then you can do a couple of them, I think.
Yes, absolutely.
Which one are you? I can't remember.
She says, pulling up a sheet, I am a...
Velocity cursed, weren't you?
A velocity curse. So so there's 6 of them. So there's Void, Punk, Soul Pod, Chrome, Carbon, and Velocity Cursed. Yeah.
And you, if you want to do it randomly, you can roll a d6 to choose them, or you can choose the one you want. So Carbon. Well, what is Carbon? It's a carbon-based life form, which is relatively simple to kind of think of. So... grown in space, it has an exoskeleton. They've generally got like short lifespans because you live in space. They're off-world and untroubled by the loneliness and darkness of space. When you choose these, you then get to choose one of 2 benefits that they have. We won't go into the details of all of them because obviously
we don't have time.
We don't have time, and we don't want to spoil things and then get done for going into too much detail. But carbon life forms, you can choose between engineered lungs and gearhead. You can probably guess what most of those mean. Next up, we have chrome. This is not this is not a life form built of chrome. You've not just like sprayed yourself all shiny in chrome and gone,
today is a good day to die.
Witness me! You're basically an AI. You're an old AI that has been placed into an organic body of some form.
Scary.
Yeah, so kind of like Crichton when he gets a human body, I suppose, is one way to think of it.
And if you're someone who reads Becky Chambers, I think it's Lovelace, the ship's AI gets put into a human form at some point as well.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Wayfarer series, by the way, which is a great series. Makes me cry. Anyway, let's move on.
So the chrome can have it can be a native machine or it can be a body battery. Again, I think you can probably guess what those mean. The punk is the next one. Well, a punk is a punk, basically.
Yeah, life form punk.
Yeah,
love it.
They're punks have been given over as a life form now, and their two ones are stubborn and green thumb. I thought green thumb was an interesting choice, but I kind of understand it with the rebellious nature and like they're trying to do things different to tech.
I also wonder if in the vastness of space and the world's dying all around you, the idea of like you actually like plants, something green you're growing and stuff like that, something natural and is original, I guess, that isn't recycled parts in any way.
Yeah, you're not recycling parts to just survive. You're doing things to make something else survive. So
exactly.
It's against the natural order that's going on at the moment, I suppose. Yeah. Cool. Do you want to take the next three?
I will. So we've got I keep saying this wrong. Soul Pod. It's hibernating for decades, but only staying awake for short periods of time. So that sounds like me in general.
Yeah, me too.
This idea that they dedicate their lives to the scientific study of the slow cosmic phenomena.
Yeah,
which I love that. It's a scientist sort of career.
Yeah,
you get long-lived or old tech.
Yeah, and they have. I think it was in this that they have discovered that the universe is actually collapsing, isn't it? So it's not the current common theory that we're going to die a cold death. The universe is actually collapsing. It's going to end in a heat death rather than a cold death. So
absolutely. Yeah. Then we've got Velocity Curses, with what I am playing. Ill-fated ones that have started to lose their connection to reality. They shift and flicker in and out of space-time with glitching faces.
That is just so amazing.
Yeah, I was quite glad when I rolled that. And you can get either future memory or pocket world. And then finally we have Void, robed annihility shamans hidden beneath masks, speaking through synthetic voice scramblers. They have visions of the edge of the universe. So again, a whole range of different cool. Yeah.
Like, you know what I think of when I hear of Void? I think of the navigators from Dune.
Oh, yes,
he who controls the space controls the universe. Because by taking the spice, they can see through space and time.
Yeah, all different.
Yeah, all the different paths and things. So yeah, the Void to me is the navigators from Dune. It's just
And just to finish off, they have either the Voice of the Void or Masked as their benefits.
Yeah.
But I rolled Velocity Cursed.
Yeah.
I went for a pocket world after all. So I'll describe what that is.
Yep.
So you start with a portable non-fizz.
Non-fizz. So non-physical.
That makes sense. I read things. Non-physical server housing a virtual reality where you store memories to connect to the past and the future of your life. And then it says up to 10 users can connect simultaneously.
Now, there's an interesting thing with this.
Yes.
So, virtual reality. So, because this is the future, non-phys VR is how people get high. It's one of the drugs within this world. And so you have your memories in this small world. You could be addicted to these memories of the past that you have lost. Because VR in this world was probably a lot more realistic than ours. But
Well, hopefully it's based on your memories. Hopefully.
Yeah.
But it might be manipulated memories. When I was looking at it, I was like, oh, it could be like that 1,000-year-old vampire where you only remember certain things.
Yeah.
Or like Matrix, you plug yourself in for the program, but you've made the program and it's glitching in certain ways.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's Origins.
That's Origins. Next up is character details. This is kind of like filling in your background stuff, isn't it? Really.
Yeah, background, trait, drive, and looks. Roll or choose from each of the tables. Surface.
Yeah, so we won't go through all the tables because it's a D20. So what did you roll for your background? What did you get as your background?
What did I roll for my background? I do have it up. So my background, I rolled a Gravity Swindler.
That was it, and we had a discussion about what that would mean. So what do you think it means?
I think it's again a manipulative person, like that sort of like wheeler dealer type thing, and it's like trying to sell big things. Like I can get you the Gravity, I can get you the London Eye, that sort of thing. That's what I think I originally sort of got on, because all these things are up for interpretation. There's no oh, this is what a Gravity Swindler is. It's just like here's some words, go with it. So yeah, in my head it's like being part of a gang of some sort, like the face of a gang, and just trying to swindle things out. A bit like Peaky Blinders in space.
A bit, yeah. I would see it like that. You have. I would also say is that with the word. So that's a swindler, but gravity. You can hop between different gravities quite easily.
Yeah, I know how to manipulate it.
Yeah.
For my benefit.
So, yeah. So one of the things they do state in this book quite strongly is that the stories and things that they've created are very much a guideline.
Yes.
You can view them however you want to view them. So the way that me and Fiona are going to talk about it and play it today is our own interpretation of it. We're not saying that this is the correct way to play it, and they say that there is no correct way to play it. So,
okay. It's the correct way to play it.
Facts, proven. Confirmed. Yeah. So Gravity Swindler. There's other things in there like Interstellar Soldier, Station Marshal, Asteroid Archaeologist, Star Salvager.
Yeah.
I kind of like that one. Right, next up we have trait. And this is just like personality traits.
Yeah, again, just some ways to maybe characterize the character. Typically, I rolled cynical.
Fiona? Cynical? What?
Me. But it makes sense, I guess, because obviously it is just me playing this one. So I did think, like, if I rolled any of the other ones, like optimist or polite, I might ask you if I could have re-rolled. Because I thought, imagine just me being very polite in the sad emptiness of space. Oh, is it my turn? No, okay, I'll wait for another 2 years.
Yep. Yes.
I got cynical on the trait.
Yes. I love the fact that one of them is a hypochondriac.
Yeah, I know. The last one, though, too old for this shit.
Oh, that's just me. It's just me.
That's all of us. You don't need to roll for it. You just always have that trait.
Yeah. Cool. What was your drive? I think this one actually fitted quite well with the storyline that I told you about.
I was very lucky with the roll on this one. Yeah. So the drive was never be alone.
Yes.
And this is quite a cool one as well, because again, it's a D20 roll, but it's like if secret. If you roll a 10, you can get secrets about, and then roll a D6 and actually think about what the secret is. But I thought out of all of them, the never be alone was really good for us, because we're just
with it being you playing, it's a really nice one, because it's kind of like you're going to have to be. So. Yeah, so next up, it's just the character details.
Yes, looks.
What do you look like?
What do I look like?
Hazard pants.
I got a botanic sort of patches on arms saying I love plants. Again, I think just because I rolled it, I was like, yeah, I like the idea that maybe it's like I have a hobby,
maybe you know some punks. You had a rebellious youth.
I did, and then they all went away, and now I talk to plants instead, perhaps. Or I like to think that, but maybe anything I grow dies. Like I'm one of those plant people. I'm like, I've got a it's dead.
Yeah, so that's me. It's like, pretty green things. Oh, you meant to water them? What?
Yeah, but I like that it's like proper flair. You remember, like just badges everywhere and stuff like that. Ridiculous. Maybe it's more flair than actual like jumpsuit, just because it's covering holes.
Space hippie.
The one that says aloe vera like really big because there's been a big tear.
Laboratoire Garnier.
Cacti. Anyway.
Cool. Next up is Past Allegiance. So in this, as we said before, there was a war going on, and there were multiple sides to the war. There was all different corporations fighting, and all different fronts fighting. So this kind of tells you what side of the war you are on. Yes. And so this is just a D6 roll. Mm-hmm. Which side did you end up on?
I was on the winning side, which, combined with the drive of never be alone, makes me think everyone else was on the losing side. And I feel like I've been a bit of a traitor as a result. So that's I quite like that when I rolled that.
But what did you actually win?
Who knows? Nobody knows who won, really.
Yeah, so, that's one of the nice things about it. It says you think you're on the winning side, but what did you actually, as we've discussed, did you actually win? Was there a winner? So it's quite nice in that one. Mm-hmm. And I think this is the last one now, isn't it? Number 5.
There's 5 and 6 of these.
Oh, there's a 6th one.
Final little bits though, so like hit points and defense ratings. So
yeah, so this is all based on D8s. So hit points. How many hit points do you have?
I was lucky in this one.
You were.
It's a 1d8 maximum hit points, and I got a 7. So incredibly lucky with that, because that could have been really low.
Yeah, and you recover 1d8 plus your body when you do recovery stuff.
Yeah, which is a +1, thankfully. It could have been a -3. Yeah. Defense rating is how much I can avoid damage, and unarmored defense, which I assume I'm starting with, is a 12 modified by the dex, which is a 0. So currently it is a 12.
Yeah, but you, I think, which we described in the next bit, you have some equipment.
I do. Yes.
Starting gear and starting bonus. So you have 12 plus body item slots, so it kind of tells you how much weight you can carry.
Yep.
So rather than actually giving you physical weight, it just says you've got this many slots, and some of these take up more slots than others. So it's a really nice, simple way of doing carrying, rather than just the magic bag of holding that everybody seems to be given in any game, because nobody can bother to work out how heavy things are. So what starting kit did you end up with?
What did I end up with? Just looking at it, I think yes, it was mercenary. So I got a uniform, which again makes sense if I was on the winning side. I got a planetary parachute. Proximity alarm needs batteries just in case, I don't know, in case I need to be woken up and they're gone. And then a flashlight. And then I got that, I rolled that, and I got a personal trinket, which, it's a music box I got, which is terrifying, because music boxes are always in horror films. I've discovered, which makes sense.
If you're alone in space and it starts playing...
Very small, like a little ballerina, like turning around, looking horrified. And then finally, a starting bonus. So if the sum of your ability scores is negative, which mine is, roll a d6 for a starting bonus. And I thought, maybe I'll get a random cosmic mutation, and that'd be fun. No,
that would be fun.
I got a heavy EVA suit, which makes sense. But I'm just like, oh.
Yeah, the heavy EVA suit is actually quite useful. Gives you a lot of armor and protection when you're out of the spaceship.
Yes.
And you always start with a normal EVA suit, but this is just an upgrade to that. So it gives you 7 hours of oxygen, like a normal one does as well. So but I think that's everything. It. So there are
easy to do in 5 minutes.
Really easy to do. There are other creation things in here. So you can have a spaceship. You can create yourself a spaceship or a hub. So if you're doing a campaign of this, it'll give you a home and things to kind of go into. But we're not going to go into that.
No.
Because we don't have one of those. I'm going to do a little bit with spaceships, but it's not going to be actually anything that involves using the spaceship. So we won't get into that one. But I think that's as much as I think we need to discuss for the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, shall we dive on in?
I think we should dive on in, but I think...
Space!
Death in space! As we're pigs flying around.
Yes.
But before we do that, because I was stressed and annoyed earlier, I didn't go to the bathroom, so we're gonna have
Amazing.
And this would be the time that we would actually have the break.
Have our break anyway.
So we're going to have our break now, our comfort break. So we will be back in a few minutes to delve into the actual story of Death in Space and freak Fiona out because she's alone. So we'll be back in a few minutes. See you soon. Bye. Cool, and we're back. Space!
Okay.
Space! Woo!
Space. Right.
It's very similar to what you were doing to put me off on Wednesday. Thank you very much.
Yes, it was. I do my Arnold Rimmer dance.
Arnold Rimmer, he was so much... Now that is true space horror.
Yes, agreed. Rimmer World. Yeah,
Rimmer World is true space horror. Right, okay, cool. So we're now going to dive into the game. And as always, I am going to put a content warning on this one. This is a horror game. It covers some quite dark themes, and we're probably going to do a little bit darker today because it's just a one-on-one. There are themes of loneliness, loss, abandonment in this, and themes of cosmological horror. So we've not really talked about certain aspects of the game because I want to introduce certain story ideas through the story itself. And so there are ideas of deep cosmological horror in this, and so if you do at any point start to feel uncomfortable while you're watching this, please do take 5 minutes out, disappear, go away, and take your own time. Me and Fiona, we've had a chat about what we're comfortable with, and so we know kind of our limits on either side. So if you are feeling uncomfortable at any point, please do just take your 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you need to. This will be up on YouTube, so if you need to stop and come back at a later date, come back and watch it on the YouTubes. at a later date. But I fully expect Fiona to turn my absolute lonely horror game into just the cutest, cuddliest game in the world, because that's what you do.
It's tricky when you're on your own, though. I can't be the upbeat, like, Energizer Bunny all the time.
You can try.
I can try, but I've also rolled cynical, so I have to. Wait, hang on. Remember, let me get into character. I'm in character.
I am honest.
I am.
I'm insane. I'm really. This is me really in character. Come on, can you not see it?
Yeah, I'm going to try my best to just be like as predicted, but not Arnold Rimmer, because that's where it could easily turn to with me. I am going to try and play it serious. I know, but I want to experience horror.
You want to experience horror? I've tried to make you experience horror, and you never do. Although you are playing C3PO and Aliens now, so
I am.
Cool. So there are connections. So the story that I'm going to run now is of my own creation. It is vaguely connected to the scenario that is written in the book itself. So there's a scenario in there in the extras section called Welcome to the Ring. And I'm kind of loosely basing it upon certain things that happen in there. Excuse me. But we're going to set this a few years before that scenario. Just because otherwise it kind of messes with things. So, your character's name is Ambrose. You were part of the war. You fought in the war. You fought on what you believe to be the winning side. You have vague delusions that you actually might have be slightly better off than you were before. Or at least the side that you fought for are slightly better off than everybody else, because nobody really won. But through the war, you lost nearly everything. Your family, your friends, your work colleagues, the corporation you worked for no longer exists because you changed sides to the side that was winning. You became alone. So you won, but at what cost? And through this loss and loneliness, you eventually made your way through the system to the Iron Ring, that fortress of humanity that still exists. The amalgamation and rusted construction of ships and space stations that are welded together in this hodgepodge, shifting, ever-changing manner. As one ship is stripped to fix another, there's resting hulks everywhere. This is where humanity exists, mostly within the Tenebrous system. However, you are not in one of the nice areas of the Iron Ring. You, through your loneliness, have slowly fallen through the cracks and have ended up in a largely forgotten area called Arum 80. A small little city, I suppose you could call it, state, in the Arum sector that people have slowly forgotten about. However, there are other people here, and to survive they have formed gangs. There are two gangs at the moment who are vying for control of Arum. There are the Passel, and there's the Parliament. To survive, you have fallen in with the Parliament. You have fallen in with Monotone Tynel, who runs the Parliament. They are seeking to take back control of Arum 80, and they blame the Passel for its failure and its falling apart. But what they need is more power. They need more power to control the computers and the weather systems and the water systems that run within Arum 80. As it is dying, much like everything else around here. But here, it's a much more desperate state. Water only flows maybe once or twice a week. Food rations, you're looking at scraps, a piece of bread a day. It is the end of humanity as we know it. This is where you exist. But luckily, through your own wiles and your own history of the jobs that you've worked before and the contracts that you've had, you've managed to wendle yourself into a position under Monotone Tynel. You are one of his trusted now, only because you have no connections. He sees you as expendable. He sees you as the one he can send out somewhere because nobody will really know that you've gone missing. But you like these. You like these dangerous missions. It gives you the power and the prestige that you want, that kind of make you feel like you did win. You did win the war, and you are now in a place where you can say to those people who lost, look where I am now. I have gained this power because of the war. Maybe kidding yourself in that. But yes, Monotone uses you. And today he has come to you with a contract. He's come to you with an interesting piece of information. Ambrose, our contacts have given us some coordinates of an old bridge jumper. It's no longer used. It was a prototype, from what we can tell. It's out past the Wendell Star, out in the void of space. Now, if you can get there, and you can get into it, and pull out its power core, and any data from there, bring it back, we can fuck the Passels. We will have all the power, we'll have all the knowledge. We'll be able to climb out of here, out of Aura 80, and go back into the Iron Ring. We'll make a massive power grab. That information is life. It will bring new life to us. You are the perfect person for this.
Obviously.
Now, there's a little bit of a catch here.
Obviously.
So say it's out past the Wendell Star. You're going to be gone a couple of years. It's going to take you a couple of years to get out there, a couple of years to get back. Now, I know you don't have much connection here. Are you okay with that? We can give you... We'll give you the best ship we got, and we'll give you hollows when you get back.
Can that be guaranteed?
I'll give you half now if you want. And I'll let you pick the ships. Fuck it, whatever. They're not going anywhere at the moment.
How long will it take there and back? What's the round journey, an estimate?
About 5 years. 2 years out, 2 years back. 2.5 years-ish. We expect you to be in the station for no more than a day or two. It's not big. As I say, it's a prototype. But we don't know what you're going to find there. But we do. No one knows about it, so you shouldn't find anybody else. But yeah.
So we should get a head start then.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, half now, half later then.
He slides over an envelope that contains a load of coins. You kind of weigh it in your hand. You kind of work out it's about 250 hollows. Which it's for this area, that's a lot of money.
It's a lot.
It's not great, but you know when you come back, that's probably enough for you to buy a ship, your own ship, and not have to rely on Monotone anymore.
Good, great, thank you. Well, I'll just pack up my few bits of belongings and I'll be on my way then. My turn.
Cool. Right. Have a safe flight. You can be awake, you can be asleep. They've got cryo tubes, these ships. Some of them need a bit of a kick to get moving, but they'll wake you up, don't worry about that.
Is there... I assume, yeah, this is Fiona, the player speaking, hello.
Yep.
I assume there's a way I can communicate to them. Is there like a communication system across the stars? Like if for example, I get there and I'm like, I have arrived.
So there are radio systems.
Mm-hmm.
They are a bit janky.
Excellent.
And they're also only radio waves.
Oh, so it's like sending a postcard on holiday and then arriving back before the postcard.
Yeah, so it like being out of system. So you're not traveling to a different system, but you're traveling out of system.
Yeah.
You'll be weeks of light travel away from someone to communicate. So you are literally being sent into the middle of nowhere by yourself with there's no backup.
No, help me. You're my only hope.
No. And also, like, it's a radio signal, so your technology is not very accurate. You wouldn't have the ability to aim it specifically. You'd have to do a broadband. Look, everybody, I'm here. There's something here. Come find me.
Right.
So it would literally be a last dive effort going, fuck, I'm dying. Can someone come save me?
Which, yeah, it's basically...
I didn't design it that way at all.
No, just checking. All right, well, just know, boss, that I appreciate I am the best person for this job, but, well, if nobody else can do it, and if I don't come back, then, I don't know. Just be aware that maybe other people might have their eyes on this. So you might want to keep tabs if you can.
Oh, we've got people working already to hide the information at the moment, but we can't keep them forever. So the quicker you're in and out, the quicker you're back, and the quicker we can make our moves.
Sure. All right.
And the quicker you can get your own ship and your own place.
Fine. I'll go get the meal deal, and I'll get on the ship.
I hear the salami's pretty good today. Less rat tails.
I'm more of a recycled tuna person myself.
Ah, yeah. All the salt.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, I'll take... I guess obviously I'm going to take whatever ship you give me, but if I look around, this monochrome have like loads of ships, or is it they all look pretty much janky and the same?
So another thing that this game does, it allows and it promotes the conversation between the storyteller and the player to create the world that they're in. So I'm going to give you the ability. You've read the book, you kind of know what the world is meant to be like. I will give you the ability to describe the ship that you've chosen.
Ooh, okay.
But remember, they are all... Nothing in this world is new. Everything is remade and rebuilt out of other things. So, and generally they're not very big.
Yeah, I wasn't going to pick like the ship behind you. that's a space hub.
That's yeah.
I would. Yeah. Do you imagine if I did that? And then it's just empty. That's a horror film in itself. It's just me.
You're pretty much playing. Oh crap! What's the game called? What's the movie? Where they go? No, where they go. Basically, they do faster than light travel through hell.
We should know this, but we don't. Anyway,
it used to be one of my favourite movies. I can't remember what it is.
All right.
Super Angry Squim. Get a ship with an alchemy air drive and a railgun. Those things don't exist in this universe. They're a bit too modern tech.
Cutting edge technology with jets.
However, in this world, in our current life that we live in Britain at the moment, alchemy air drives are on the verge of being created, and railguns do exist. So, this is space, but with less tech than we have now.
Yeah. I think so. The ship I would pick, it would literally be the size of. I was going to say this room I'm in, but you can't see because I've got the virtual background on. So the size of space. You know what? It's the size of a white van. So we've got like the cockpit's also scrunched up together, and then it's got a little bit of a cargo space.
You know what you just put in my bloody head about that?
What?
Spaceballs.
Yes.
The Winnebago. Space Winnebago.
It's like the Winnebago from Spaceballs. That's a great movie. But yeah, it's that size because it's quite cramped. It's speedy because I would assume that it's a get in, get out. Don't worry about stuff, and then so there'll be it's cramped. The cryo tube, which I will definitely be using because fuck waiting around for 2 years of your life in a white van space. It'll be like size of a white van, but it has the rig sort of like of a lorry. So I'll be up the top bit of the lorry where the cab's on. So a bit above the cab essentially would be where that cryo tube. For stasis.
So basically, you've taken the cab of one ship. The ship is basically it's taken the cab of one ship and just welded it onto a cargo container and stuck rockets on the side of it and thrown a cryo tube into it and some space and some life support in the back.
Yeah, I think it'll have So it's it's all sort of patchwork. But I think on the side it will have like some logo of like a ye olde delivery service. It'll be Hermes.
Well, they are old now. They're no longer known as Hermes, so that's good.
There you go. So the Hermes word on it, with like little sandals with wings
on them. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm eating my beard.
Yeah, and and it's full of crap that you get from the front of a cab. As well, so you've got bits of old containers, bits of scrap metal. You don't even know what they're there for, but it's kind of like, oh well, this might be useful later, which it probably will be to patch holes.
It's probably bits that you can instantly just whack onto a wall as a hole appears.
Yeah.
These do.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yes. Yeah, why not? There is a seed cover. Thank you, Super.
Beaded seed cover.
Yeah. You know what else there is? There is one of those tiny hula
girls.
Yeah, which is, I don't know. It's not, like I said, it is solar powered in a way, but it's just stuck.
It kind of goes nee, rather than the full hula.
Yeah.
A memory of times that you never knew. Yeah. But yeah, it's cramped. You wouldn't be able to fit two people in it.
No, and that's still what I've picked.
Yep, cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think we'll come to we'll do a little bit of discussion on this, and then we'll come to our first dice roll.
Okay, cool.
So, traveling within system does not cost any fuel, but you're not traveling within system.
No,
you are traveling out of system, but not between systems. But I'm going to use the between system rules because you might as well be.
Yeah.
So you're going to need some fuel to fly this, and luckily one of the rules they put in this is life support is always powered.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
You can't just end up on the float and have no no life support.
Even ye old Hermes had life support.
Yeah.
When they were going between planets.
So
pay extra.
How much fuel can this ship carry, and will you need to make a stop off along the way to get fuel?
Because I think it's narratively interesting. Yes, I'll have to make a stop off because I think it's like one of those speedy in and out ships, but
it's not designed for this long a distance.
Yeah,
it's an in-system ship.
Planets. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
Hoisted by my own petard.
Excellent. So we'll start off with you have enough fuel to get to. There is a map in this somewhere of the actual systems.
it's is it not playing the game?
Where is it?
I think it's an extra, isn't it?
Is it? I think it's one of the extras. Yeah.
Extras. It's
I've got it.
Page 68 for those people following along at home.
Yes, if you have the book, that is. So yeah, if you can see there.
If you're watching this after the books come out.
Yeah. So the book is out, I think, on the 29th.
Yeah, 29th.
Yeah. So next Friday.
Next Friday. Of time of recording. Yes.
Of the time of recording. So April the 29th, the game is out. So yeah, you can see the Iron Ring and Glees Gallo and Oro the Moon on one side. In the far ring.
Yep.
And if you go on to the next page, you can see Wendell on the outskirts.
Oh my goodness, Wendell is so far away. I didn't realise how far it was.
But that's they've only put that there because when you read the actual fluff about it, it's actually further out than that.
Yeah.
It's a free floating planet.
Put it this way, the Iron Ring where we are is on one page, Wendell's on the other page.
On the other side of the galaxy as well.
I generally thought it was like, I will be fine. It's like going up to like Edinburgh from London. No, it's on the other side of the page of the galaxy. Yeah. I would totally need a stop off then.
Yeah. So we'll say you can probably get enough fuel to travel to Ramsvart spaceport. Which is, I'll say that's halfway.
Yeah.
So all of these things, they do have their own descriptions in there. I'm probably going to not use those, and just because I can't find Ramsvart spaceport at the moment. There it is. On the opposite side of the galaxy. It's so much like the Iron Ring. You have heard of this, but you've never been. It's never really been somewhere you wanted to go because you're part of the Iron Ring. But you know that it is a place you can get fuel. You've heard of it. It is a space station that is in the same orbit as Inaro and Glees Gallo and the planet. Glees Gallo is the planet that Inaro orbits.
Yeah.
And the Iron Ring is a ring around Inaro, which is the moon.
That's it. Yeah.
This is on the opposite side, so I guess they're in geosynchronous orbit of the sun on opposite sides.
For ease, yes.
Yeah, just for ease. And this Ramsvart space dock is constructed of 4 massive colony ships that have been disassembled and smashed together to create a spaceport. It's disorganized patchwork and is focused only on functional aspects. It's not somewhere you want to stay, but is a final stop of people leaving the system. Is it near the jumper station?
Let's say no.
Well, no, it is kind of like, if you look at it, it's the green blob, green square near the outer ring. Tenbris 59.85882, last active bridging buoy.
Yes. Oh, I see what you. Yes.
Yeah. So you can stop off over there and get some fuel. So
I can refresh my meal deal. Get a space Ginsters. Again, a proper UK reference. Only people who have stopped off at various roadside service stations
against his pie, against his Cornish pasty. Oh.
Yes, I know.
And a tepid Costa coffee.
Oh yeah, it has to be tepid.
Excellent. So let me just see how long it takes you to get to run. So there's a nice table here that gives you times and things.
Yeah.
So it's far to far. So it's 1d8 weeks. Do you have a d8? Because I don't. Because I don't know where my dice are at the moment.
I thought it was remote. I thought the space dock is remote.
Ooh. Well, it's kind of in between. Weirdly.
Yeah, it is in between. But okay, a d8, you said. Let me reach into one of the many dice sets I have to hand. And have it out. It's so funny. I was just like, yeah, it's only a d20 for rolling, and then of course I don't have any other dice out. All right, so I've got a d8. It's a 4. I rolled a 4.
So luckily, you managed. things have aligned for you. You've well prepped. It's the start of the journey. You're excited. It's a new task for you. And also, you want to get in and out of Revart pretty quickly. It's not something it's not a place you want to be.
Too loud.
So, are you going to sleep for 4 weeks?
Yeah.
Cool.
Why not? What could possibly go wrong?
Well, you need to roll a d6 to find out what could possibly go wrong.
D6.
Let me find the space travel.
So why would I need to roll a d6, David?
So, as we've mentioned, things are not well built in this universe. They're a hodgepodge and connection of things that have just kind of rusted and fallen apart and rebuilt, and then rusted and fallen apart and rebuilt again. Everything's been rebuilt multiple times. So things don't always work. And so we need to work out whether there's a complication that happens with space travel. So it could be the spaceship starts to fall apart a little bit. It could be a random encounter happening, or nothing can happen at all. So roll me a d6. Stop doing science at me. Yeah, things can't technically rust in space, but screw that.
I got a 3.
A 3, so we need to go to page 100 and look at an encounter.
Uh-oh. Encounter time?
Encounter time. I didn't think we were going to look at any of these. So roll space encounters of the third kind. Roll me a oh god, you got to roll a d10 and then a d6. So roll both at the same time.
I will. Alright, so it's a 7 on the d10 and a 1 on the d6.
Out of fuel. Good job
no!
Good job you go somewhere where there's fuel.
Damn it!
A broken racer pod with a velocity cursed in the driver's seat. It flickers between dead and alive.
Oh my god.
So you encounter a ship without fuel. So you haven't run out of fuel.
Oh.
So but I will say, because you're traveling within system, you're not sleeping, because you need to move around and guide the ship around things. Mm-hmm. Generally within system you don't sleep, because you might crash into debris and stuff.
I have to my old-fashioned iWatch tells me to stand up every hour. Mm-hmm. So I have to get up and walk about even when I'm supposed to be sleeping. So
all of the 2 feet that you can walk in your
like back and forth.
I say like the 2 meters that it is in there.
Like crouched down as well.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're slowly atrophying as well because there's no gravity. So yeah, you a couple of weeks in, so 3 weeks into the journey, you pass the first sign of life that you've really seen since you left Aram 80. You see these lights flickering oddly, and it kind of catches you by surprise, because even though the system is full of debris and full of other things, space is still empty. Systems are still empty, and you are caught surprised by the fact that you can actually see these lights flashing on and off. A quick think and a quick play with the computers that just about work. You can see that it's an old speedster. It's a ship that was probably used in the olden days before the war, in system races around the planets and stuff. That is dead, lying there inert, other than the lights occasionally flashing on and off.
Do I see anyone in the cockpit at all, or anything like that?
You would have to fly pretty close to be able to see through the cockpits. Like think of a plane, an aeroplane. That's kind of the size of the windows that there'd be on this racer. Yours are a little bigger because you're in a Winnebago, basically.
I'm in a Winnebago, absolutely. I think because the lights are flashing on and off, that indicates something. It's not completely debris. So I think it would be something of note that probably the ship's computer would come up with. So I think I would take it. I'd slow down to bottle. Was it rubberneck? Have a look. Yeah, look out my window into their window.
Yeah, are you flying with lights on? Or are you going in dark?
Oh, that's a great question, actually.
Do you want them to know that
I
you're going to
I
be seen?
assume going in dark because you said it was very empty, this whole space thing.
Yeah.
So the road safety person that Fiona knows that you have to put your lights on when it gets dark. But if there's no one else in space, why would I put the lights on? But no, I think they'll be cautioned, and I'd keep the lights off and sort of go in silently.
In that case, I'm going to make you roll a savvy roll for me, please. And so this is going to be for multiple things. So it's like perception, you're piloting in a spacecraft and things. See if you actually crash into them and see things.
I'm never going to get to this place. All right, so savvy roll. So it's just a straight D20 for this. I'm going to get over 12.
Over 12 or above.
Oh, that's a 13.
That's a 13.
That's very... Oh, okay, so yeah.
For each ability roll... Oh, no, that's the... So you only get void points if you fail the roll, don't you? Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, cool. So we'll come to void points when I start doing tech rolls.
If it happens.
When I start making you do tech rolls, I'm going to guess. So yeah, you've been in the ship for long enough. You've managed to vaguely work out its proclivities and its little nuances that it has as it tries to keep itself together, and you fly there. You pull up close enough that you know that that once you're at a certain point, they will be able to see the ship, but you know that they won't until you are close enough for you to be able to see within there. When you get there, within the flashing of the cockpit lights, you notice there is movement within the ship. You also instantly recognize the flicker of someone similar to you. You notice that flicker of a velocity cursed. How do you feel about finding someone out there? The ship, other than it not moving, looks quite well built. It looks like it has good parts on it.
You say, so is this person moving about freely around the cabin, or are they sort of like,
You can't really tell. You can tell that they are themselves, that they're like moving their limbs and things, not free floating as if dead. But you can't really tell what they're doing because the lights of the ship are flickering too much.
Oh, is it like when it's like light on, light off, and then like slowly moving? Like...
Yeah, it's basically a strobe light, but a really slow, random strobe light.
Really, yeah, but really random.
Yeah.
Actually, I think I'd be really unsettled by this. I think, weirdly, I wasn't expecting anyone to be in there.
Yeah. It's also, you will also make me another savvy roll, actually.
Okay.
Hang on, is it savvy? I think savvy's the one I want. Yeah, savvy is the one I want.
Savvy, yeah, it sort of encompasses everything else. Yeah. That's not body or dexterity or technology. That's a 5.
Okay. Yeah, you can take a void point for that.
One void point.
So for people who are here, void points are a thing that you get if you fail a roll, and they can be spent in one of two ways. They can be spent, actually, oddly, to give an advantage on a roll. So Fiona can spend that to give herself an advantage. An advantage is your D&D advantage. You roll 2 dice and pick the highest. Or you can use it to activate a cosmic mutation, which you don't have at the moment.
No.
However, if you use a void point to roll with advantage, and you still fail the roll, we go into a void corruption situation and bad shit happens. Basically. And there's another table on there where we roll and the void starts to affect things. Yeah. So, yes, rolling with advantage is likely to give you a result, but if it doesn't work,
It's such a risk.
It's a big risk.
It's like pushing the roll in Call of Cthulhu.
Yeah, it's in the same like in other 3D games. It's pushing that roll. You can still succeed, but like if you there's very much a cost involved. So, but yeah, and you can only ever have 4 of them. You can only ever have a maximum of 4 points. So yeah, so you get a void point. Yeah, it feels uncomfortable, but nothing is ringing alarm bells.
Okay.
Nothing overt is ringing the alarm bells.
I think it doesn't ring alarm bells, but I'm still a bit. And even though it's a much better ship, I have been sent to do this thing, and I can feel like the weight of the hollows, the little envelope. I'm like. I'll move into drive and speed away.
And abandon them to their own fate.
I'm sure they're fine.
Yeah, excellent. Cool. As you speed away, you head off for the last week. The thoughts of that person, that person there, they quickly fade from your mind. They weren't going to help you. You don't think they would have helped you.
They're going to slow me down.
They're just going to slow you down.
Yeah.
You've done worse things. It's survival for you. You could have interacted with them and they could have taken your ship. This is pure survival.
Right. Exactly.
So, yeah, and after a while, you end up at Ramsable space dock. It is massive. It's not massive on the scale of the Iron Ring.
No.
But this is 4 colony ships. These ships don't exist anymore. These kind of things don't exist anymore. The closest you get to them is the bridge jumper ships. But they're still maybe half the size of these colony ships. These were ships used hundreds and hundreds of years ago to colonize the system. They would have contained hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds of millions of tons of equipment, soil, plants, energy supplies, everything you'd have needed to start up a new civilization. And so these 4 ships have been tacked together. But they're very much a shell of what they were. You can tell how they would have existed, the big domes, but there's holes in them, the glass has been removed from the domes. There's very much a skeletal structure left. And there's small ships zipping around this as well as welders. You can see the welding lights as people are trying to fix things, or maybe they're taking things off. Maybe they're salvaging the ship. But you know within there is the fuel that you need. As you draw closer, that radio that is sat on your dashboard with the wonderful curly line, slightly faded plastic, crackles.
DBA radio, yeah.
The old
DBA. That's not what they're called, but yeah.
Yeah, you've not had any. You've been trying to get other truckers on the line, and it's like
10-4, good buddy.
10-4.
Yeah,
pigs in space. Anybody coming? Pigs in space. Anybody here? Yeah.
Breaker.
It crackles to life. Unidentified shit. What do you want?
I will respond. I'll pick up the thing, and I'll be like, Hermes white van to Ramsable space dock. Permission to dock and refuel.
You want fuel?
Did I stutter?
I don't know. I was asking, do you want fuel? Because
sorry, I misinterpreted your. No.
Yes. No, you don't want fuel. Well, yes, you do.
No.
Make up your mind.
Sorry, a bad line. Yes, this Hermes needs fuel.
Hermes.
Permission to dock.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. You got credits. I'm sorry, not credits. Hollows. wrong world. You got hollows.
Wrong universe. Sure. How much for a refuel?
How far are you going?
Outside of the system.
Ooh, fancy. I'm sure we can fix something up for you. Sure we can trade. If you got hollows and you got spare parts, I'm sure we can do something. That container looks quite nice that you're carrying.
Container's off limits, but I have some scrap. Tell you what, a refuel, some scrap, and an extra couple of hollows just to keep shush about this sort of thing. How does that sound? Over.
Ooh, I like the sound of that. Yeah, if you come to port 27, dock in there and ask for Wyoming, and you'll I'll come down to meet you and we'll sort something out.
All right, 10-4, good buddy.
See you in a bit. Click.
I'm like, the old ways aren't what they used to be. And then I like the idea that, again, I know we've described it as like a rig cab, but it's got pilot, like an airplane sort of things that are moving like. They're not called joysticks, I know, but
I know what you mean. Yeah,
steering wheel,
steering columns.
Yes, yeah,
or something like that, whatever they're called.
Yeah, because it's very reactive to what you're doing. So.
Yeah.
So yeah, I will try and dock in Space Dock 27.
You know what? Fuck it. Make me another savvy roll. I don't usually like Fiona knows me. I don't usually like throwing lots of dice rolls out there, but I'm throwing the dice rolls out there because I kind of want to get some void points out.
Sure, that is a 12 on the dot.
It's a rough, bouncy ride. It's a little bit of a rough, bouncy ride, and you manage to get in there, and it's very much a Spaceballs kind of thing, and the ship comes in and it just kind of skids to a hole on the ground. You were expecting like it to rest and then there's a thing to come out, and like then you see it very suddenly, and it's like, oh fuck no, I actually need to go in there and land. And it's like,
yeah.
And you get in there.
Doors jam a little bit as it's trying to, and I have to slow right down.
Have you ever seen the outtakes of Red Dwarf where they're trying to get the bug out and it just starts every now and then collides into the walls and stuff? You like that, but you don't quite click on the strings.
It's 100% like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we can turn any horror game into comedy.
That's what we do. We've done this to ourselves now.
Yeah, we've basically turned Death in Space into Red Dwarf. I do apologise to the creators.
Yeah.
So so you've landed. There's nobody there. The whole place is empty. There's a few barrels lying around, a few broken down cranes that look like they might possibly work, but there's also bits missing off them. What used to be like the docking centre has no windows in it, so there's no pressure in there. The doors don't close, so the pressure's not going to resettle, so there's going to be no air in there.
For goodness sake. All right. Keeping an eye out, I'll be in the back of the cab. The back of the van, putting on my heavy EVA suit, which takes 30 minutes to get on.
Yes.
Which is really irritating.
It's not a fashion statement.
I know, it's proper, but it's the only thing. I know I've got the light one as well, or you could have a light one, but I've put the heavy one on and just keeping a lookout. Can I see if anyone is watching the ship? If there's any like cameras, or if there's any like people coming towards me whilst donning this EVA suit?
No, it is literally the bit that you're in has no windows. It is basically a shipping container that we know, and all the walls are reinforced. It's got your cryo tube on there. It's got your storage units for your EVA suits. Your oxygen containers and your oxygen recyclers and things, and your limited toiletry systems that exist. So yeah, there's the only way you can see people is by opening the back door or going up into the cab and looking through the window.
Okay. I'll put the EVA suit on because I feel like I might have to go out at some point, so I'll have that on. So.
Yep. Halfway through you putting the suit on,
my boots on.
You're getting your boots on, tying your hair back, and trying to fit yourself into it. You hear the clunk, clunk, clunk as someone knocking on the side of the ship.
One moment. Carry on. I'm coming. Yeah, one moment. I don't need to justify what I'm doing. Yeah.
About 2 seconds after you say one moment, you realise that there's no atmosphere outside and they're not going to hear you.
Oh, balls. I put my head into the rig and
the EVA will have its own radio system, so I'll be nice to you.
Okay. I know space, so yeah. I'll bleep bleep.
Yeah.
I'll be like, one moment.
You hear things like, what's fucking taking you so long?
I'm getting dressed, obviously. Over. Bleep, bleep.
What, you mean you've got atmosphere in that thing?
Bleep, bleep. Yes.
Fucking hell, that's posh, isn't it? Boy. And you kind of hear this slow, like he's stroking the side of the ship. Well, isn't that? She's a special one then, isn't she?
Look, can you start the refueling and I'll pop in a few extra hollows for you for a quick and quiet job.
We'll see. And you don't hear him leaving because sound doesn't travel. Yeah. But it suddenly goes quiet outside.
I try and hurry up putting on my spacesuit. It's taking 30 minutes. It's like it's interesting because again in the book it says like because you think you would wear something like this all the time, but it says like it's heavy and unwieldy, only suitable in low gravity. So that's the reason I'm putting it on now. I'm not wearing it all the time. Yeah, it's not like jogging pants or something.
No.
So, okay.
No, but we'll say speed things on. You're dressed and you've gone through the airlock at the back of the ship, and you step out, and you are confronted by 4 suited figures. They're they're in heavy EVA suits like you, and their the visors are completely black. The suits are completely black. They're patched and worn, and a bit like yours. You can tell they've been through. You can also tell they've been through the grinder. All the damage is not necessarily wear and tear.
Right. Is there any... I appreciate we've not really established winning side logos and stuff like that.
There's no insignia on them at all.
Okay. I would assume I would be clever enough not to have any insignia on my one either.
Yeah, it's...
Made that mistake once before.
Yes, you've made that mistake in the past before. You're not going to do it again. But also, you're on a mission where you don't want people to really know what's going on.
That's right. Okay, so confronted. Like.
And again over the radio here. All right, it's a nice ship. That. Shame if it was to not leave here.
All I want is fuel. Can you do that between the 4 of you?
Oh, I can give you fuel, but I'm not giving you my spaceship.
I don't want your spaceship. I just want fuel to move on. Like,
what would be the point in having fuel if you've got no spaceship? You've got no spaceship.
I see. Sorry, bad line again. Yes. Really? Look, we could do this the easy way, or we could do this the hard way. The easy way is that you give me the fuel, I give you your hollows, and then we say no more about it. The hard way is that you give me the fuel, and I take your heads.
Well, you see, the way I sit here is there's 1 of you and 4 of us. So... you can have the fuel for free. Fuck it, I'll give you the fuel for free.
Oh, that's so generous.
But that's as much as you're getting. It's either the fuel for free or your fucking life.
Why do you have to make things so difficult?
Well, it's up to you, little lady, isn't it?
And I would like to press a button on my EVA suit, which affects the gravity around the one that's talking.
You can't. Well, I was going to say you can't tell which one it is talking, but they're doing hand gestures, so you can tell which one it is doing.
Okay. If I couldn't tell who it was, it would be the closest one that looks. Well, they all look very threatening, but if I could press the button and swindle the gravity around them so that they shoot off into space.
Yes, but you know what I'm going to ask you to roll?
Yeah, no. I've very realised that. So I would like to spend that void point straight away to see if I can get an advantage on it. So
yes, you can spend your void point to get an advantage, and please make me a tech roll.
I will. So it's with advantage. That's 2d20s, and I've got to get over 12. But it's a -3.
3, and it's a -3 to both dice.
Yes.
That look is.
So the highest I got was an 11. -3 is 8.
So
failed the roll.
You have failed the roll, but what we're going to play with this a little bit, and I'm going to give you the. So you now have failed the roll. You cannot re-roll this.
Nope.
Nothing can happen now. There's no re-rolls in this game.
No.
It's literally you just roll your dice, and that's the result.
Yep.
So now we come to you've used advantage, and you spent your void point. You've spent the advantage that the void of space has given you. But the void of space has taken its turn upon you. It does not like you.
No.
So the void seeps into you. The loneliness, the darkness, the beings beyond space and time that you hear whispering every now and then in your dreams act upon you. Roll me a d20.
Oh, okay. That's a natural 1.
You become infected by an anarchy program. Page 96. I've not seen these before. What's an anarchy program?
An anarchy program?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll put that in.
So, corrupted by the void.
Is it called Fortnite? Fall Guys.
It is unknown whether the anarchy program is natural or artificial. A lethal parasite. Hidden in creatures' DNA that consumes and reprograms genetic instructions, the host becomes very aggressive before eventually dying. When exposed, victims must succeed with a body check or become infected. When infected, roll 1 body check per day. Victim is rid of the infection if reaching 3 successes. For every failure, they turn more aggressive. On 3 failures, the victim is forever lost to the void and turns into a port fanatic.
Oof.
Well done. I was wondering if we were going to manage to keep this in time, within the time limit that we said, but I think you might have just done that.
I pressed the EVA suit. It's one of those old EVA suits which I've pressed the button too many times, and then I've got ow, like actually hit.
You press the button and you smack. It's not working. Then you smack it, and the circuitry underneath it pierces your skin, and the anarchy program is infected your suit, and it now infects you, and your velocity cursed body reacts violently to the coding of the suit. The stress of the people in front of you pissing you off and threatening to take your ship starts to build within you an unnatural aggression and anger that you can't control. You see flashbacks from the war of your friends being shot next to you and being incapable of dealing with the people who are doing this to you, knowing that your fight is futile, that you sat there with your single little gun as these heavy bombardments rain down upon you, the anger and the despair of this war and these people that you see in front of you basically doing the same thing. You rage. So do make me a body check just to see whether you can control this.
Sure. This is a +1. God, that is terrible. That's a 7 total.
7. So yeah, you are infected with it. So each day you're gonna. I will say, if you put yourself into cryosleep, we're not going to do it each day. You're in cryosleep. But yeah, so for this day, you are now rage filled. You are very, very angry and aggressive. So you don't manage to keep these feelings in check. So yeah, you are confronted by 4 fuckheads that you now just basically want to rip apart.
Do they look like they've got weapons at all on them? They're just standing around being very cocky.
From what you can tell, they're just standing around from being very, very cocky.
Cool. I very coolly kick up one of the scrap metal bits.
What I'll also say is your smashing of the button actually did work, and
okay, cool.
The all 4 of them have. It's not gravity swindled them. It's basically turned off their magnetic boots.
Yes.
They are now floating free in space, and they're kind of like, oh fuck, and trying to.
They're sort of distracted for the moment.
Yeah.
Whereas I would have, but yeah, for that distraction, because my original plan would be like do that, so they struggle and then shut the doors. I actually get really fucking angry, and I'm going to kick up one of the scrap bits of metal and sod it. It's not going to work because I know it's a tech roll to do a ranged weapon attack, but I want to like almost shuriken like closest one to like hit them in their EVA suit.
So you're going to boot some tech, some like not tech. So you're going to boot some salvage at them to kind of maybe push them out the back, because they're facing their back is to the door, to the exit to space.
Yes, yeah, that makes more sense. Yeah.
I'm going to make you roll body for this because you're kicking something rather than tech. You're not using tech range. The range here for me says that it's like an actual weapon. It's a technological weapon.
Right.
Whereas if you're kind of kicking and punching things, I'm gonna or throwing something, I'm going to say body or dexterity, but we'll say body for this one.
All right.
Again, the rules are there to be used how you see them rather than what they actually say in the rulebook.
Okay, so this is a +1. A 10. That's another failure.
You kick and it sails straight past them.
Great.
So it sails straight past them, but they're still floating. They can't seem to get control of themselves.
Are they? When you say are they floating definitely away, or they can't swim? Or like in the great grand scheme of space, they can't. They can't.
No, they can't.
I'm sure there's stuff.
It's a very slow movement. That is basically the ship is moving away from them because it's in orbit and it's rotating.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But it's not like you can control yourself. So movies show that you can control yourself in freefall.
Yeah.
Really, really fucking hard to do, especially in a heavy suit and you can't move quickly. There's not enough stuff, so they are literally just, unless they can hit the magnetized button on their boots again, they're not gonna. They're floating through.
Can I see anywhere any of the fuel to put in? Said. What I want to do, if possible, whilst they're sort of distracted, like swimming around slightly out of control, I want to get out and fill up as much as I can. What I think is like reasonable, like within, I'm going to say a minute. I appreciate I'm on those ticking clocks. Eventually they'll be like beep and then back down. I want to fuel up as much as I can and then get out, essentially.
Yeah. What we'll do? Roll me a D10.
A D10. Of course.
This is how many minutes you get to fill up.
It was a 1 and then it rolled over to a 9, so I was like, phew.
Cool. I will say that manages. You have 10 minutes to fill up, and you manage to get enough fuel that you can get to the station that you're heading to. But sure getting back,
I don't have. Yeah, it's this is a ride or die case. So I'm just like enough to get me away from this place, and that's where I'll go. So yeah, fill up.
You're also aware that. You use your drives are not. It's very old school. These are burn drives. They produce fire and heat. So, and there are people floating around that have pissed you off.
Oh yeah. they'll burn. I'll fill up the stuff. Oh, would I be that bitch? Yeah, I then sort of pick out one hollow, throw it into space, and like, as promised.
Yep.
Fuckers. And then I want to shut the doors, lock in, and then kick up the sort of the Hermes drive, Hermes sort of warp core, whatever it is for the tiny spacecraft, and aim the thrusters at them.
Yeah.
As I'm sort of leaving.
Yeah. And they disappear in a torrent of ions, hot ions, and they slowly disintegrate. The suit peels back, and then if you could see, you can't because there's no windows there. But if you could see, the suits would slowly burn and peel back from them, and then you'd see the bodies and the skin would melt, and then the bones and things would disappear. And pretty much like Terminator 2 beginning, as she's hanging onto the fence screaming.
Oh,
a bit like that. And then the bodies do fly back because of inertia. So yeah. One thing that I didn't actually include in there is one of the rules that they do actually put in here about ranged combat is if you do shoot something, if you do shoot a gun, you're in zero gravity, so you do have recoil.
Oh, shoot back.
You do get shot back. But because I just kind of used magnetized boots, the kick, you'd still have 1 foot, so you'd be rocking backwards and forwards as you do it.
I was still in the van-ish, yeah.
So you'd be rocking backwards and forwards, but yeah, there's that wonderful idea that the writers of this understood space. They understood they really do understand how space works and how gravity works. Cool. And you're back in your spaceship, and you have some fuel that will get you to this bridging buoy that you've been told to go to. Now
I'll spend the rest of that sort of day. I'll take off the EVA suit. It takes me so fucking long to put on, and I'll be very cross and just be like try and calm myself down because I feel irrationally angry that these absolute arseholes just thought they could just take my fucking ship. So I'm sort of trying to calm down, but not really doing so. Feeling irrationally angry about it.
Yeah, you're probably rubbing your wrist where there's a small scratch where
unconsciously. Yeah.
Excellent.
The camera zooms in on that, like red raw.
Yeah. So you're now at the point, and you're far enough out that you can drop into cryo sleep as you head out to the point that the coordinates that you've been given. It will take you a day to set up the computer to travel that far, and for you to set up the cryopods and then get into the cryopods. So I'm going to make you make your first body check now for the virus that you've got that I've forgotten the name of.
Anarchy program.
Anarchy program. So yeah, just a body check.
Yeah.
If you,
I'm gonna use one of my void points.
You don't have any void points.
I have 2. I failed twice recently.
Oh yes. So yes, you have. So you've got 2 void points. So yeah, use one of those. This is where you end up with another anarchy virus or something stupid, isn't it?
Yeah, probably. Yeah. All right. So body check +1. Ooh, that's a 17.
Yeah, so you're fine. So you've passed your first one. You managed to keep the anger under control as you're trying to set up that cryopod. Finickety, old.
Oh, so many bloody wires.
Yeah, and so you managed to get in there, and you managed to set it off, and you hit, and you end up in your cryopod. Now,
can I narratively put in my pocket world, plug that in like it's a UBS stick essentially, and it sort of plays out like a little dream before. So
it gives you a dream every now and then. Yes, definitely. It's a way to. Usually in cryopods you don't dream. It's just you go to sleep and then you wake up as if nothing has happened. But yeah, you can have some
like
dreams.
A sleeping aid.
Yeah, have some dreams. I'm happy with that. I like that idea. But yeah, but what you do need to do is roll me a d6 to see what happens.
All right, ready?
Don't roll a 1, or those dreams are going to be fucked up.
5.
5. Roll an encounter again.
Oh no! Is that a D20?
I'm going to guess so. It's page 100, so give me a second.
I think so.
Most things here, most things are D20s here, so.
I'll confirm it once you found it.
Space encounters. No, it's the D10 plus a D6.
There you go. See, that's why we always check. All right, the D10 is a 10, and then a D6 is a 1.
Oddities.
Oh.
And a 1. Did you say on the D6?
A 1, yes.
A wormhole.
Oh no, that doesn't sound like a good. I'm never going to get to this bloody station. Monogram's going to think I fucked up.
What
are you going to do, David?
You arrive at this prototype bridging buoy. So, world-wise, concept-wise, for people who don't know the world, the way you travel between systems at faster than light is you have to travel between bridging buoys. So they are waypoints that allow you to kind of travel and not run into stars and comets and shit. So you will go from buoy to buoy to buoy, there'll be safe paths through star systems and through galaxies and stuff. So that's what they are. And this one is you've just been told it's a prototype. As you arrive in system and then you come out of your cryo sleep, you come out awake and you just hear all the fucking alarms in the ship going off.
So I took the batteries out of that proximity alarm. Okay. Yeah, stumble into the rig. What's up, computer?
Yeah, and as soon as you kind of get up into the rig, you see what's causing it. In front of you, you can see the buoy. It's a lot larger than you kind of imagined it would be. You've heard of the buoys, and they are just kind of like really powerful radio signals and systems that you've never seen one, but they're the most technologically advanced things in your universe.
Sure.
But this one is massive. It's almost the size of a space station.
Oh, God.
And on the far side of it, you see a swirling disc. You've never seen anything like it before, or even heard of anything like it before. It's there. You can see, it's almost as if you can see through it. But on the other side, there's nothing. But you know that it's a hole somehow. It's like if you'd have got a piece of paper and poked a hole through a piece of paper. You know that there is a hole there, but you can't see anything on the other side. It's like almost as if there's nothing on the other side.
Negative space, yeah.
And as you're looking at this, and the sirens are going off, your radio screams to life with static. It's the loudest setting. It's louder than the loudest setting you've ever heard come out of a radio. And it is just that horrible, almost like early 90s modem sound coming through it. But on the edge of your hearing, it's almost as if there are voices calling to you. You can't hear out the words, but you get the feeling as if these voices are calling you, wanting you to come to them.
Can I pinpoint the radio frequency, like where the signal is originating from at all?
Your best guess is it's coming from either the station or from this anomaly in space that you can see.
It's coming from in front of me, which is a space. It's the two things that you described.
Yeah. Okay. And as you kind of go through the channels, it's on every single channel. I turn it off. It gets too intense. I turn it off. It doesn't disappear.
Oh. Okay. All right.
And as you're kind of doing this, and you're on now, kind of on the float towards the boy, suddenly the anomaly disappears. It just goes. For a few seconds afterward.
Does it just close, or does it just like as if it wasn't there?
It just as you look up, you see it. You look down, kind of push some buttons, and as you look up again, it's not there. It's just gone, completely vanished. Okay. The alarms stop. The radio doesn't. Carries on for maybe 5-10 seconds longer, and then it cuts.
I take a moment to just like breathe. I think my hands are trembling a little bit. I'm rubbing that cut. It's okay.
Make me a body check now. We'll say this is technically another day.
Yep.
Do you want to spend another one of your void points?
No, I've already rolled it, but it's 14. So
okay, cool. So that is 2 days. You're too scared to be angry.
Yeah. Okay. I try and pull up. I assume Monochrome gave me some like. Well, actually, no. Did they know of this boy, but that was kind of it, and obviously the to get the object, as it were. But did they have any maps of the place, or can I do a scan?
I'll say you can do a rough scan of it, and it kind of gives you a rough.
I just want to see if there's an entry point, like a docking bit I can dock.
Yeah, you can find docking bays quite easy enough, and you can either find ones which you want to fly into, or ones where you can kind of sidebar connect to.
Let's fly into one.
Cool. Okay. As you get closer, you notice it looks very inert, as if nothing is active within it. It looks like a dead station, kind of what you'd expect. It's out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and it's abandoned, so you'd expect it to be dead. Mm-hmm. The only reason you could really see it when you arrived was the glow from the anomaly behind it, because you are in, like, space is empty, but this is the most empty that space could be. You are beyond your system. You are in between systems. You are 2 years travel back to the system. You are in the most lonely place you've ever been. You've just seen something really fucking weird in front of you. You are now about to enter a station that shouldn't be here, that is dead. And as you move towards that docking area, the lights of the docking area turn on. And you land. And the doors of the docking bay close. And you hear outside a howling gale and a siren screaming. Goes on for a minute or two, and then it stops. You check your equipment and notice that there is pressure and atmosphere for you to breathe outside your ship. And I think this is probably a good place to finish the game for today.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because it's getting late. There is more of the story. As I say, this was meant to be a 3-hour game, but due to fucking computers, we're behind schedule. So
technology.
We will end it there, I feel, because I feel that's a really nice point to leave Fiona in stress.
I think they know I'm here. Oh, I've arrived. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you so much, David.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's. I've shown different parts of the game there. I think different ways the game works.
We've got cosmic mutations, void points in.
Yeah, we've got void points in. We've got void corruption in. You are now dealing with a program that is fucking with you. You've met angry people who want to steal your shit because that's what people want to do in this. You've been sent on a quite a long contract to gather some form of resource. You've met the void.
I've met the void.
You have met the voices in the void. So hopefully at some point we can come back and maybe finish this story.
Yes, absolutely.
If you're up for it.
Oh, always up for space.
Pigs in space. Sorry, death in space.
Yeah, I also like the idea that actually that's the sort of the space Winnebago now is it's dirty through space as well. So that hand, as like, the person's like, it's like also available in clean.
Yes. As you step out, you notice that there's. It wasn't there when you got in and left Ramsable, but now you've come in. It's like also available in clean. It's like, when the fuck did that happen?
I wish my partner was this dirty.
Yeah. Those typical notes, yeah. But they weren't there. They weren't there when you left.
You're like, you bastards! Now, no wonder I'm furious. It's like, how dare they? How dare they assume I have a partner?
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, that is an introductory. We talked about the game for a little bit, and then we've introduced the game for a little bit. So I really like it. I think it's a fantastic system, fantastic world. Cool.
Definitely. It's nice to actually play in the game after reading about it and stuff like that so soon, rather than what usually happens when we're both like, oh, this is a great game. Who's free?
Nothing happened.
It's like
6 months later.
Death in space. The radio wave comes back and goes, oh, it might be free.
Like, how long did it take us to get to play fucking The One Ring? Took us ages to get that game out.
It did. But yeah.
It was worth the wait, that game.
It was worth the wait. But yes, thank you so much, David, for running this for me. I appreciate it.
No, that's fine. So we shall wrap up now. So, as usual, who are you, Fiona? Where can people find you? And is the episode up?
Yes. So, who am I? My name is Fiona. What am I? I'm currently playing a cursed. Was it Cursed Velocity? Yeah, Velocity Cursed. No, I don't know why I said Cursed Velocity. When I'm not playing a Velocity Cursed, you can find me on Where? What is Where? It is What Am I Rolling? A twice monthly RPG one-shot podcast. As always, it's going very well. I did an interview with the designers of Death in Space, so Christian Plogford and Carl Niblaeus, and we talked about what they thought about the game and how excited they were to come out. And yes, obviously, it is coming out this month in 29th of April. So please go check it out. Again, as we've just sort of talked for the first sort of half an hour, it is beautiful as a game and just really interesting. I also recently interviewed the designers behind Merkborg as well, so Pele and Johan,
who were involved in this game as well. And
yeah, if you love dark fantasy and just but also being so grim dark that it's very silly and then it's a lot of fun, then check out Merkborg as well, both by Free League. And I also co-host DM's Book Club, which is a weekly book club podcast. If you thought, I like Death in Space, but you know what I really like is Dungeons and Dragons. Boo!
I like rules.
Yeah, but boo on you, because I have a weekly book club podcast where we talk about some Dungeons and Dragons and discuss how we can include it in our role-playing campaigns. An episode literally went up just before we went live, because yesterday there was the D&D Direct streaming announcement where we're showcasing all the stuff coming out. A little lesser known setting. I think it's called Spelljammer.
I think I might have heard of. I don't know.
It's coming out now as a box set and everything. So we recorded this earlier today at lunchtime. We recorded a quick sort of reactions to because we were very woefully impaired. Haven't they
also? I know the actual book is coming out August 1st, but haven't they released some of the monster compendiums already?
So if you have a D&D Beyond account or a Wizards account, you can get a free sort of Monstrous Compendium Volume 1, which is 10 Spelljammer creatures, all the way from Asteroid Spider, which is imagine a spider that's as big as an asteroid eating your ship. pretty much like that. You have something which I think is horrific called the Goon Balloon, which is, imagine Cubert or Kirby, but Hellraiser edition.
I love that.
Yeah, it's
Cuba in SNM gear. All down for that.
Sure. That's exactly what we were looking for. But yes, so we talked about a bit about that. We talked about the new starter set that's coming out, and also they revealed that Dragonlance, an adventure in Dragonlance, is coming out next year, and there's loads of war games and stuff as well. So essentially, Wizard of the Coast is now doing a Warhammer, essentially, and getting in on Games Workshop's stuff as well. So yeah, if you want to listen to that, that's now up. But we've also done other things as well. We've talked to people who've done Kickstarters on D&D content and general sort of lore and stuff. But what we try and do, we try and talk about it, but also talk about it as a general sort of thing. So if you're not a D&D fan, but you like listening to lore stuff, check it out, because you can put them in any games really and use that sort of interpretation. And yeah, we did a Spelljammer episode as well and just talked about, because I didn't know much about Spelljammer until this year really, and it's been very exciting actually. I think it's really interesting and beautiful artwork as well. So yeah, that's what am I rolling.
We may have something planned for Spelljammer.
Yes. Fingers crossed.
Maybe. But yeah. With the Merkberg stuff as well. They have just released Cyborg, I think, to backers.
Cyborg, yeah.
And there's also just been a community content version called Orkborg has just been released as well. So I do know a friend of the show, Big Dad, who does Twitch streaming on Big Dad Industries, is running it tomorrow. It was written by Grant Howard, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So expect amazing things from that, because Big Dad Ben is absolutely brilliant. And if it's done by Grant Howard, it's going to be absolutely brilliant as well. I've not seen Orkborg, but I imagine that it's going to be absolutely phenomenal. Yes, it's going to be absolutely fucking mental. So yeah, that's come up.
Yep, so those are my podcasts, and you can find them wherever you listen to podcasts. But let's back over to you, David, the wonderful GM, the Death Space mother for this.
The forever GM, but I prefer...
Forever GM.
I get so fucking weirded out when I start actually playing in the games. I don't understand how to play in games. I played in Heart by Tom a couple of months ago, whenever it was, and it was just bizarre. I enjoyed it, but it was really bizarre. But yeah, so who am I? I run this channel when tech allows me to run this channel, where I'm hoping that we can now be a bit more regular, running some games. So hopefully we'll have the second part of this coming up at some point, where the actual main story arc comes in rather than just the random encounters. And we have Alien happening next week. So Alien is going to happen on Friday 29th, 8 p.m. BST. Where we will start Act 3 of Destroyer of the World. So things are really coming to a climax now in that one. May the 1st, if I am right on May the 1st, Be Seeing You.
Oh, yes.
We will be playing... Yes. Because you're involved in that as well.
When am I not involved? This is my Zoom room. Yes, May the 1st.
No, this is my Zoom room. It's your Zencaster we use.
I'm just always in here. Yes, May the 1st.
Yeah, so May the 1st we're doing Be Seeing You, which is an indie RPG, which you can get on itch.io. It's very much about 1984, basically. In the UK, you are observed. You are in the most watched state in the world. So it's basically playing real-life UK citizens. We're basically going to be playing our own life. We're role-playing ourselves. But it's also a lot darker than that. There's a lot of deep state stuff involved in it. It's very, very cool. And the author, who I have forgotten the name of, is going to be on there as well.
I will find it for you whilst you ramble.
And so there's that coming up. We now have a date and time for the second game of Cult, Divinity Lost. So Paul will be running that. But this will be with a different cast. So a different part of the story. And I am absolutely ecstatic about the two players that we have for that. So we have a friend, Kay, who is actually going to be in Be Seeing You next week. They will be playing in Cult with us, but we also have Mark Q. Anderson playing, who is an absolute Cult fanatic, but he's also one of the creators of Mondo Cane Publishing. He's a very, very close friend of Darker Days Radio, who is one of my other podcasts. And I've known them for a while, and they are one of the most phenomenal role players out there. And their knowledge of the games and the worlds and everything is just amazing. And I'm super excited to have them finally on a game for us.
That's awesome.
So I'm really, really excited that that's worked out. And Paul will be running that again, as usual. We don't have anything else currently planned.
Not yet, I'm sure we will. But
I'm trying to organise a few things at the moment. So keep an eye out, and that will be happening.
Just to add in, Be Seeing You is by Tanya Flo Aker.
Yeah. Tanya will be joining us for the game.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
I think she's playing. I think they are playing. Sorry, they are playing. I think they are playing in the game rather than running it.
I believe so.
I think John is running it. I think that's his name. Yeah. Please correct me if I got that wrong. I can't remember whether it's John or James at the moment. Other than that, I host the Drunken Storyteller, which is a podcast. It is a folklore podcast. It is all about folklore and weird, spooky stuff. An episode went up today because I forgot to record it and post it up yesterday. About some stories of Edinburgh and how Holyrood got its name. We have an episode going up on May the 1st where Fiona has decided to show up in it again. She's everywhere. I can't get rid of her. So yeah, it's basically it's 99% folklore and me delving into different folklore from around the world. Occasionally I throw in some RPG stuff with Fiona. So there's that. I'm also occasionally on Darker Days Radio, not very often at the moment. But yeah, so there's that. You can go check me out there and at Darker Days Radio. Do go check out Darker Days Radio because a lot of their content is really cool. Other than that, I think that's it.
Do you not also have a Vesson?
Oh yes. That's something I forgot when I was recording today's episode, and I had to re-edit it and put it back in. I have just self-published a Vesson scenario, and it's on Drive-Thru RPG, the Free League Workshop, which is their community content page. It is called Dark Tides. If you want to see a very butchered comedy version of the game, go onto my YouTube and look at Scottish Tale or a Scottish Folklore Vesson on my YouTube, where I've got James Shakeshaft, Mark Norman, Icy Sedgwick, and Tom playing in the game and ruining the story.
No, they're just making it better.
Yes, they did make it better. It was a brilliant game, and I'd only written half the scenario at that point, but now it's a fully fleshed out scenario. It's like £3 on Drive-Thru RPG, so if you want to go check that out, go check it out.
Worth it.
It would be cool if you did. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I think that's it. I've got some other independent stuff that I'm writing at the moment that will be coming out throughout the year. So watch this space.
Watch the space. The Death in Space.
Death in Space. But yeah, I think this is currently going to be one of my new favourite games. I absolutely love that. Very much my kind of thing.
Yes.
So cool. I think that's it. We've covered everything.
I think we've covered everything.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you once again, David. I really appreciate it.
That's all right. Thank you for being here and playing. So we shall see you next Friday for Alien.
Yes.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.